Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the eSports Report presented by the Xbox One, the official console of Major League Gaming. Benson and Mr. X in the booth for this one. We're going to take a look at everything going on tonight in the Pro League. I'm going to start with the standings as they are right now. Optic Gaming, 5-0 at the top, a 75% game win percentage. Now, not too far behind them at 4-0. The only two teams to still be unbeaten. And then, of course, the informed FaZe Clan getting a lot of momentum after that win at Dallas. 3-1, Envy 3-2 as our Optic Nation, and of course Team Orbit.
Yeah, then you can go to the second half of the standings, see who's down near the bottom. You have ISO at 2-3, Elevate at 2-3, TCM at 1-2, TK sitting at 1-4, same as Rise Nation. Then Epsilon sitting at 0-5. Ben.
A pretty tough start really for TK, Rise, and Epsilon. Epsilon still trying to find that first win. Luckily for them, they have tonight to practice. They will not be playing this evening, but let's take a look at who will be. At 6 o'clock, Rise face TK. At 7, Optic Gaming versus Orbit. 8 p.m, FaZe going to go up against Envy in what should be a thrilling game of the evening. And at 9 p.m. to close out the action for the Pro League, it's going to be TCM versus Denial.
Now that FaZe Envy match, it's going to be a big one, Ben. I think a bunch of good matches tonight, but we'll start talking about Rise versus TK, the 6 o'clock matchup first. I think TK needs a win desperately here. I mean, desperation is definitely sitting in with them.
Yes, it is indeed. Both teams currently sitting at 1-4. It's desperate times for both of them. They need the wins at this point. You can't afford to go down 1-5 because then, okay, congratulations, you're a win off being Epsilon, essentially. Which no one
right, that's what I'm saying. Rise's, their only win is against Epsilon right now, who hasn't beaten anybody. So Rise really struggling. You know, I would even, you know, you look at the standings, they're kind of misleading. I mean, right? I mean, you kind of put them down right
at the bottom,
right by Epsilon, like right down at the bottom. Both of these teams need a win in the worst way. Do you think we see more roster changes with either of these teams?
Both teams must be panicking. I think with the addition of TK in the team house, I think that kind of settles them down a little bit. Whether that's the necessarily right move, not too sure. TK, an organization who, as we kind of always keep mentioning, whenever Roster Mania kicks in, they go around the same group of players time and time again. Is that a good thing? In all honesty, probably not.
And they had TJ right at the beginning of Season 3.
And you can see
end up trading him
over. TJ,
then Rise ends up trading him. He's been playing great. They're going to be looking back at that. Maybe they kind of messed that situation up.
It's very, very strange. You see how much of a talented player TJ has been, and the fact that no teams want him. Makes you kind of think, oh, there has to be something else going on there behind the scenes. But I think TK making more roster changes is probably not going to happen. Yeah. Rise making team changes, I mean, if they lose this,
do you think that's a set spot for Apathy?
I feel like a player like Apathy is a good addition to your team, right? You don't want to just pick him up and then just like leave him.
Well, is it like Apathy's decision? Or does Apathy, does he want to be on the Strive squad? I mean, they come out, they say that's going to be his squad for Season 3. You have to wonder maybe something goes on with Apathy. Yeah,
he's definitely someone to keep your eyes on, that's for sure. But 6 p.m. it may not be necessarily thrilling in terms of the glamour, but it definitely is an important for both these two teams. It's a must-watch.
Big match to kick it off,
games. Yeah, it really is. As Matt said, desperation kicking in for both these two teams. They need their win. Then at 7 p.m, Optic Gaming going to go up against Team Orbit in what should be a pretty simple game for the Green Wall, but maybe we see a little bit of an upset.
I mean, Orbit upsets Envy last night. They come off an awful UMG Dallas. They get a big win last night to kind of
top 32, baby.
Right. Get some momentum back. Can they beat OG? Can they give OG a close game? I don't think so.
No. I mean, this is OG's first match since getting back from Dallas.
Right, but they're still
upset with their performance.
They're 5-0 in the Pro League right now. 15-5 MAT record. Don't think the UMG loss kind of hurts them too bad.
No.
I mean, they went through a tough loser bracket run. They get all the way back to the finals. They just lose to a better FaZe team. I mean, that FaZe team on that day was just better than Optic Gaming.
Is that how they'll look at it, though?
Optic? They'll be angry that they lost still.
But
which they
will
should
that
be.
Affect them into the Pro League?
No.
No? You think they can separate this?
Yeah, they'll just be more motivated to kind of come back strong.
Okay.
Nah, really kind of get back at FaZe
so
next
basically,
matchup.
What you're trying to say in a polite way is Orbit's screwed.
I would not want to be the first ones to play OG after their loss. No, I would not want to be the first team to have to do that.
They could be pretty upset with themselves.
Yeah.
Players like Krim like to take it out on teams. So, unlucky Orbit, expect to see Optic Gaming kind of cruise through that one. Then at 8 p.m, another cracking game. FaZe going to go up against Team Envious. Looking for the boys in blue to kind of bounce back from yesterday's performance, and of course FaZe to continue steamrolling that momentum after a big win at UMG and a 3-1 win over TK last night. gotta say, they look kind of unstoppable right now.
Oh, they look great. Right now, I mean, just watching them play Hardpoint and S&D, they are dominant. I think if you're going to look at Envy and they're going to contend in this series, you're going to look at Octane and Aqua to have big nights. Then JCap. JCap feeling a little bit under the weather. I mean, after UMG.
Yeah.
A little bit sick last night. Note said he wasn't feeling good at all. I believe he said he lost his voice. So going to be interesting to see how he plays tonight.
I mean, FaZe looking to push to a 5-1 start. Envy currently at 3-2. So it's kind of a big win for FaZe. Kind of keeps them up there with Optic and Denal, who's still yet to get a loss.
Yeah.
So it really does propel them further forward. Now, FaZe did 3-0 Envy at Dallas. How much of an effect do you think that's going to have? They didn't play any of the maps they're going to be playing tonight, though.
So I don't think so.
So no effect whatsoever?
Yeah, maybe if it was some of the same maps, maybe it affects them a little bit. But I don't think there's going to be much carryover from Dallas into the Pro League.
Okay. Looking forward to that one. That really should be a cracking game. Then at 9 p.m. to close out the Pro League, TCM go up against Denial. Can the Wolfpack stay perfect, Matt?
I think so. I think this will be a tough matchup, though. Seems like TCM played pretty well at Dallas.
Okay. They actually look pretty good. I was so behind them watching a couple of games, and I was like, well, this is going better than I thought it would for these guys. It seems the duo-ship of Teep and Apes definitely seems to help them both mentally, but they're now currently sitting at 4-0.
Right.
I mean, another...
For me in this one, can TCM really keep up in the slaying department with Denial?
Okay.
I mean, you have Hook and Temp, two very talented players. And then, I mean, you throw Slasher in there as well, him in replays. I mean, it seems like Slasher's going to not really change his role a little bit, but...
He just doesn't need to play for as many kills. He can play in such a slower pace than he was being forced to previously that it kind of makes his role even easier.
There's not much pressure on him to really be the main AR always.
Just
he's got so many
kills.
Right.
It really just makes him feel a little bit more comfortable.
If TCM's going to win the series, they're going to have to win the S&Ds. I mean, Denial have a dominant S&D team.
I mean, TCM is yet to take a search and destroy in Season 3, and Denial is 4-1 in S&D.
Yeah, you're going to...
So I think you can pretty much say
TCM's going to need to win. They're going to need to win their first S&D tonight.
That's going to be an interesting one to close out the evening, that's for sure. Expect to see the Wolfpack stay unbeaten. We'll take a look at the standings one more time, though, starting with the top half. OG, of course, 5-0, Denial 4-0. Both those two teams looking for the perfect start. FaZe at 3-1, Envy 3-2, Optic Nation 3-2, Orbit 3-2 as well.
Then we take a look at the bottom of the leaderboards. See ISO, Elevate, TCM, all sitting down there, 7-8-9. Then you have TK, Rise. That'll be that matchup first. It'll be battle of the 1-4 squads. Then Epsilon in last, 0-5 now. Really, Ben, I mean, for those three teams at the bottom, they need to win every game. They need to at least get back to 500. And TK plays Rise tonight, so one of those teams going to get another loss. One of them will drop down to 1-5.
I mean, we kind of talk about it all the time, how this Pro League is a little bit different than previous seasons. You used to play 44 games, now only 22 games. So you look at Epsilon, and you look at the likes of Rise and TK. You've played, what, 23% of your games so far?
Yeah.
And you're not in the best position you possibly could. Again, we'll take one last look at tonight's schedule, just so you guys know which games are coming in where. 6 p.m. Rise face TK. 7 OG take on Orbit. At 8 p.m. probably the best game of the evening. FaZe take on Envy. To close out the evening's Pro League, TCM versus Denial at 9 p.m. But we should take a look at how all of the casters have predicted this evening's game. But we'll start with last night's predictions. It seems to just be a constant battle between me and you at the top, Matt. Maven, yeah, he's not doing too well, bless him, is he really? Well, first of all, why did you say Rise over ISO? What was going on there?
I just wasn't sure how ISO was going to play with Parasite, but Parasite just went huge last night. I mean, he just played absolutely out of his mind. Couldn't really have predicted that. I thought maybe it's ISO, a team that gets outslayed a lot. You know, throwing a new teammate into the mix, maybe it would have kind of changed some things up, but you know, Parasite just came in, fit in perfectly with that ISO squad, and then everybody was wrong on the Envy match. I mean, Orbit came out and shocked everyone.
Couldn't have got that one more wrong. Shout out to Orbit, coming out causing upsets. Everyone correct, though, with the 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. games. FaZe and Elevate
Maven just keeps falling further behind.
I feel bad for him at this point. Me and you still tied at 21-21. Puckett only 1 point behind. Maven a full day off. Me and you at this point. So he really does need a little bit of lady luck on his side. And we'll take a look at tonight's predictions to see who differs with who. Puckett, the only one to predict TK with the win over Rise. Everyone favoring them. And of course, that's the fun one because it's kind of bottom... What, the bottom 2 out of 3 teams?
I mean, we all have Optic Gaming, FaZe, and Denial. I mean, those are kind of safe bets.
How do you predict against any of those, right?
I mean, the only one that you can arguably say probably is the Envy FaZe one. I think that could potentially be kind of close.
Really?
Yeah, I think Envy's a pretty good team. I think, you know...
I think FaZe have that.
They have a lot of talented players. I think FaZe has to do, obviously. I picked FaZe, but I think out of those 3 series, I think that's one with the most potential to be close. And then, look, Rise versus TK. I mean, Miyu and Maven go Rise. Pocket goes TK. Now, I don't know. With the way TK, their history in the Pro League, they've gotten off these slow starts we've seen. It does not look good for them.
I have to be honest. Coming in today, I did have TK. And I made my change right before our decisions are locked. We have until 1 p.m. to actually put our list of predictions together for the day. And for some reason, I just wasn't feeling it. I sat there and I was like, okay, TK, they have to get a win at some point, right? They have to try and propel that good start. But I was like, this is a big game. Like, this isn't as if, you know, it's a good team playing a bad team and you're always going to predict the good team. This is 2 teams really, really struggling. Both indeed need the win, as we touched on. I just think Rise has more of a chance of winning it than TK, which is so weird to say. Even though TK, I think they're on the team house starting today.
Apathy is a huge factor in that series.
He is.
I mean, you know, if you look at just raw Slayers in that matchup, Apathy's like the clear-cut best one out of all 8 players, I would say. So if Apathy goes big, I think that's an easy win for Rise.
I'm excited for all the games tonight, and we'll see who is going to be sitting pretty with the predictions. Me and you, same predictions for this evening, so we won't really be changing. At best, Puckett catches up to us. Maven is in absolute no man's land, so bless his heart. He's a full day away from both myself and Matt. For now, though, quick commercial break. When we return, it's time for Vulcan Picks.